What's up, everybody? Hope you guys had a great 4th of July. Didn't have to make any trips to the ER, like JPP, old Jason Pierre-Paul there. My name is Jordyn Chamberlin, and today we are talking about the difference between influence and persuading people. So really just how to improve your influence, whether it be in your professional lives or in your own personal lives. So this is a great podcast today, and it's going to be relatively short. I got to make sure that I get videos that are going to be down 15 minutes for YouTube, so that way we can get those uploaded on there, and so that way if you guys want to actually watch the video, watch the podcast, then you do have that opportunity to. So I'm going to just go ahead and jump right in. So actually, I wrote down a couple of definitions for two of the key terms today from accountingweb.com. And while it's somewhat confusing on the way that they chose to word it, I think it's still going to be pretty good. So influence is how they defined it is going to be more about the messenger and how it involves feelings and values, and persuasion is going to be more about the message itself. So from that definition we can see when you are persuading people, it is more deliberate and obvious than you are kind of basically when you're exerting your influence, because it helps you achieve more tangible effects. But it's also more short-term and demands a lot more regular reinforcement. But if you can develop your influence properly, you will find it easier to persuade colleagues, your clients, your customers, to basically do the things that you need and do the things that you want, whatever task that you're trying to get to. It'll help you develop and garner that whatever end goal that may be for you. So fine-tuning your antenna to whatever your communication is being accepted or rejected. That's key. It's an integral part of it. And if you feel that your approach is failing to establish any rapport, then you need to change your behavior very, very slightly, or actually dramatically, depending on how far off your end goal is. So if you change your stance, your line of reason or your tone of voice, the other person will usually start to reflect the change, and you'll start seeing a lot more of the rewards coming back to you. So let's go ahead and get into, I would say let's start with the influence, and the difference between influencing and then the difference between persuading people. So influence and persuasion are often confused, and while they may be both used to attain the same goal, they are very different strategies, I think. So I would say first off, let's create rapport, right? That's probably the most important. I think I've got about four or five different like key stats that I would use whenever you're developing influence, and the most important one is going to be to create rapport with the individual that you're speaking with, the crowd that you're talking to, or the end consumer that you want to persuade and also want to influence and have them purchase things from you. So I would say number one, starting off, is just make sure that you create rapport. So whenever you create rapport with the person you're trying to influence, and you be genuinely interested in what other people are doing. This may sound like it's common sense, and for a lot of people who are on the end spectrum of a good influencer or a good persuader, that is common sense to most of us. But we all started somewhere. And so for the basic person that is trying to develop their own influence, I would say let's start with creating rapport. Make sure that you're genuinely interested, and make sure that you're talking with the correct people whenever you do start creating rapport, because you want to make sure that you're creating rapport with people that you are generally going to be interested in, and they generally are going to be interested in what you have to say. You don't want to go in trying to sell insurance to other insurance agencies. You know what I mean? That just it's obviously not going to work for you very well. So developing rapport is going to help people be able to trust you. There's obviously a greater possibility that you will be able to persuade them. So let's go ahead and jump right into number two. I think is it's going to be listen and invest your time. And I think the art of influence, it doesn't come natural to everyone. And it's not a quick fix. It's something that you're going to have to develop. You're going to have to develop. It's going to take time. You're going to develop empathy. You're going to develop the awareness for the subtle nuances that may be happening around you, and that's tough for most people. So we got create rapport, then listen and actually invest your time in that, which is number two. So you're more likely to get what you want if you're playing the long game. That makes sense for most people. If you're in sales, that's going to be a little bit tougher because we're not always thinking about the long game. We're thinking about how can I get a good commission or get this sold so that way I can make something here in the short term, in this month paycheck, in this commission paycheck. We come from that millennial generation, so we want statistics, and we want our rewards. We want everything now. And that's very tough, especially in the sales game. But if you want to work on your influence, and you want to be able to be better at emotionally reading people, and you want to be able to actually walk into a room and have just that influence of, hey, I remember talking to Jordyn, and he was exactly what I wanted to see in quote unquote salesman, and he gave me everything that I wanted. He listened to me, and he was able to develop a relationship with me, and then he also sold me a great product on top of that. So I think that's a very, very key item whenever you're trying to build your influence. And I think that you're more likely to become better at the art by finding any opportunity to continuously be practicing it. So when you are in those opportunities, actually take the time to listen to others. And when it's human nature. Whenever we feel truly valued, then we're more likely to be swayed to somebody else's point of view. We feel like somebody's actually taking the time to get to know us. Then we're like, hey, this is a good, this guy's a good shit, and we'll tend to listen to this person. Number three here is going to be beware of your body language. Don't forget to fine tune your antenna to know whether your communication is being accepted or if it's rejected. If you feel your approach is failing to establish rapport, change your behavior slightly. If you change your stance, line of reasoning, and tone of voice, the other person will usually reflect the same back. I actually said this earlier when I was talking about the difference between, persuasion and then also influence. So just reiterating that point, because it is very important. Body language is a key, determinant to understanding what people are thinking, even without them actually saying it to you. I mean, it's huge. Another thing that I love to do is to be just an expert in my field, to be extremely knowledgeable on whatever I'm talking about. Obviously I don't know everything. And so, a good way to, help almost build your credibility is to say, if you don't know something, say, hey, I don't know, but I'm going to look into it. And this, I'm getting a little bit off track, but number 4 is going to be write business emails, social media posts, and even reports. This factor is going to help you become a subject matter expert in whatever your field is. When people see that you are not only putting in extra work to understand your field of interest, but you are actually trying to effectively communicate the problems, find any solutions that there are. Basically, it's going, etc. is what I meant to say. I'm sorry, guys. It's just going to help make yourself a go-to person, in your field. And, if you're a subject matter expert, people are going to come to you. That's just how it is. We want to go to the person who knows the most about our problems. Therefore, you make yourself become, extremely knowledgeable by doing your own research, looking at reports, looking at, key determinant information within your field. And then maybe you start to be more vocal about it. You are going to come off as a person who knows what they're talking about, who is truly passionate in their field and wants to help others. Especially if you're giving out free information via social media, via, if you're in science, scientific journals, anything, what have you, will make you a leader in your own right, honestly. And as with everything, some people there's going to be haters. You're right. Everything that you do. I mean, we live in the age of the internet, so everybody has an opinion on you, and they like to talk, a little bit of trash, which is good because, if you don't have haters, then you're probably not doing the right things. You want to be so vocal and be so passionate and be so influential that you're either going to have people that fully agree with you, people that want to get to know you because you are starting to become your own light. I mean, when people speak passionate about anything at all, it tends to draw human beings in because most people don't have that aura about them. They're not passionate with what they're doing in life. And so when they see people that are like that, you either have people that are going to hate on it, which that's life, or you're going to have people that are drawn to you because of your intellect, the way that you think, and the way that your passion exudes from you. It's a beautiful thing, and I love being around people that are generally passionate about what they're doing in life, and especially other entrepreneurs, as I am myself. I want to be around as much knowledge and as many people like that as I can, because it's that old saying. You become who you hang out with. You become the 5 people that you hang out with, and if you hang out with losers, or if you hang out with winners, succeeders, then you will eventually become a loser, or you become a person who is successful. Again, success is all relative, so I mean it depends on what you want to be and what you want to become, but I don't think there's a ceiling. There's no glass ceiling when it comes to success. It's whatever you want to make it. It's the hard work that you put into it. It's something that I strive for every day. So if I can give you guys any type of information, any type of knowledge, I would say become a subject matter expert and speak eloquently and speak passionately about everything that you are truly passionate about, and success will eventually come to you. I think people just respect hard work. They respect diligence, and if you can create that lane, then they will respect your ability to see a problem and then try and find a solution to their own problems. So you will essentially become the person who created their own platform out of thin air, and basically an innovator, if you will. You'll start to get recognition, and you'll start to garner influence, and that's probably what most people are searching for. And also success and more money, depending on whatever. Like I said, it's all relative. Success is relative to whatever you want it to be, but if you set yourself apart from others, then it will eventually come. So again, let's go over. It's just number one is going to be creating rapport, and be genuinely interested in other people. Number 2 is listen and invest your time. Number 3 is be aware of body language. Number 4, writing business emails, social media posts, or reports. This is going to help you become that subject matter expert in your field. Follow these steps to truly improve your influence overall. So here are some of the questions for that you guys submitted this week. I've just got one that I'm going to do, so that way I can get this video submitted, and that way I can get it up on YouTube for you guys. So I got, hey Jordyn, I have a presentation due here in a few weeks, and I'm extremely nervous to speak in front of others. I was like that at one point. Have any pointers to help my anxiety on this? Any tips would be helpful. Thanks and take care. So if you have a few weeks, I mean that's a lot of time to prepare for something like this. So I would create an outline for your presentation. That's first and foremost. At least put down some key points that you want to talk about. Put down some key information that you want people to know. And then move on to, studying and actually becoming as knowledgeable as you can throughout the next few weeks. You want to know this topic, whatever you're doing. You want to know this topic from top to bottom. You want to be able, if anybody has any questions during your presentation, you want to not be like, well, I'm not too sure about that. You want to be able to have some boom, boom, boom. This is exactly why in this area. Be able to answer their questions with knowledge and intellect, and with some affliction. You want to be able to know exactly what you're speaking about. And then also I would say 2 to 3 days before you actually give the real presentation, do as many mock presentations as you can. Whenever I get in front of others and I have to speak, I like to be as knowledgeable as I can, but I want to be able to get into the exact place that I'm going to be giving the presentation a day or 2 before, so that way I can run through it as many times as I need to. That way I get comfortable with the room, I get comfortable with myself speaking in that room, and it's just like doing a sound check before a band goes on stage, Rolling Stage goes on stage. And so that is it, man. Good luck to you, and I hope nothing but the best for you. Kick ass on that presentation. So that's going to be it for today's podcast of Planet Facade. I'm Jordyn Chamberlin. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and thank you for tuning in. Remember, please like and share it. Our next podcast will be Thursday. Make sure you send any questions that you have to us. It's going to be our email on planetfacade@gmail.com, or you can tweet at us on social media at Planet Facade. Talk to you guys soon. Take care.